This video, I'm going to tell you exactly why your GMAT score is not improving. And I'm going to tell you how to get out of that hole if you're in it. So the GMAT is a standardized test. What does this mean? Scores are on a bell curve. So let's say you're in the middle percentile and you want to get to the 90th percentile or more. You have to become better than a corresponding segment of the population. Now, who are the people that you're competing against? They're people who are like you, smart, ambitious, and hardworking. So if you want to improve your score, you have to become better than that corresponding segment of the population. So if you're an average score right now, you want to get to the 90th percentile, you have to become better than 40% of the people taking the test. This is really hard because all the resources available online to you, they're available to them as well. So you have to become better than them. This is really hard. Now, the second thing is, this is a time test. And if nothing about your performance changed under timed conditions, your score is not going to change. And I want you to look at, for example, the papers on which you solved when you started preparation versus now. Are you solving in the same way? If you're solving in the same way, nothing about your performance changed, and that is why your score did not change. Now, what you have to remember is that progress is not linear. So maybe you're over here and you're in this phase, and you're putting in a lot of effort and you're not immediately seeing the change. It doesn't mean that you're not improving. It means that you're not able to unleash that performance on the day of the test. Now, think about this. When you're solving a problem under time conditions, you know that on average, you need 2 minutes per question. So if you're reading a question that is 50 words long or 80 words long, that is really fast. And so you need about a minute to read a question, maybe 30 seconds to formulate a plan, and then another 30 seconds to execute. There's obviously an overlap between these steps. So that is really, really fast. And for you to be able to do that, it requires that you fundamentally change how you reason in quantitative reasoning and in verbal reasoning. And that is why this progress is not going to be linear. Sometimes you're going to have to drill things a few times or many times until you're able to execute and summon those skills under time for you to begin to see change in your performance and in your score. Another reason why your score is not changing is that you're wasting the official material. Think of it as follows. You have two types of official material. The official guides, so there's the big guide, the extra guides, and the online questions in a bundle. And you have the official GMAT mock tests. There's 6 of them, 2 are free, 4 you can buy in packs of 2. These guides, these questions, all of them, without exception, have to be solved either as mock tests or as mini mock tests. They are not to learn the content. If you don't know how to solve a linear equation, if you still don't understand the probability, then you should not use the resources. That is a waste. The purpose of the official GMAT resources is to improve your efficiency and assess your execution under time conditions. If you don't know a lot of the material, do not use the official material. It is a waste. Instead, you have to build your quantitative reasoning and your verbal reasoning before you go back and you solve these questions. Another way that you wasted the material is that if you wasted the mock tests, keep in mind the following. Between mock tests, you need to put in at least 30 hours to 40 hours of study time, but that needs to be conscientious. It needs to be directed. It needs to be committed to improving your quantitative and verbal reasoning under time conditions. If nothing about your performance changes under time conditions, your score is not going to change. So you have to be very strategic in how you use these mock tests, because relatively speaking, they are not many. So you only want to use them when you know change could happen, and you can use them to assess your progress. So another reason why your score did not improve is that you didn't learn how to pay the tax for the whole duration of the test. I want you to think of the following: a spectrum. On one end of the spectrum, you're fighting to answer a question. On another end of the spectrum, you're just letting that question go. You have to guess it. You want to be somewhere over here. So at 70 to 80% of your capacity to exert attention during an exam, because you want to do the best possible that you can, but you just don't want to burn out and waste time and run out of time during the test. So you have to learn how to pay that tax and sustain the focus that is required to do really well without just falling apart, because the exam is attacking you, life is attacking you, there are a lot of surprises. So maybe you succumbed to anxiety during the test and you weren't able to keep the focus. That could be another reason you did not build your mental stamina. Another reason why your score did not improve is that a lot of test prep companies, they model their questions on official GMAT questions that you find in the guide and in the mock tests. And therefore, when you solve a GMAT question in a mock test, an official mock test, or the official GMAT material, the newness of a question that you have to experience, that you have to be shocked by when you're solving a question, because that is where a lot of value lies, is now gone because you kind of saw these questions before, and so you lost the value of the official mock tests. So you have to be very careful in how you use non-official test prep material, and you have to make sure that it does not rely on emulated official GMAT questions to improve your quantitative and verbal reasoning skill. And the GMAT, the people who make the GMAT, they love this because it makes their exam relevant, difficult, and hard to beat. And they know that the only way to improve your score is to fundamentally improve your quantitative and verbal reasoning principles. So please be very, very cautious in how you use the official material. Do not waste it. Remember, it is not to learn the content, but it is to improve your efficiency and execution under time conditions and to assess your progress. Another reason is that you lost momentum. Now, you need certain momentum to make progress and to sustain that momentum and to arrive at the perfect point to actually unleash your ability and the new skills that you acquired on the day of the test. But sometimes life happens, you change jobs, you have some crisis, and so you stop studying, you lose the momentum, and you go back to maybe your starting point, and then you have to start again. What you need to do, therefore, is you need to split your plan into sprints. And during a sprint, you need to be absolutely focused. If you want more information on how you can do that and how you can combine various resources, in addition to the official GMAT resources and how best to use them, the link below will show you how.